Yo, what's up, Ramblin' Raiders listeners? Welcome back to the podcast for the RIP Week 11 edition. I'm joined by the panel, Hot Takes with Laney Cakes. We have Magic Mark and our boy repping the new Ramblin' swag, Big Pick Joe. Shirt looks great. How's it going, fellas? Y'all ready? I know we've been – Lane's got – I didn't even notice, man. Lane's got his Ramblin' merch on as well. Everybody's looking good. If you would like to get yourself a shirt like Big Pick Joe or Laney's Locks, you can head on over to ramblinraiders.com. Go to our shop and peruse around, man. See what you can find. Maybe you just might like what you see. Boys, well, I know we missed 2 weeks. We had to take a little bit of a break. You know, the podcast grind can wear you down. It can be tough sometimes whenever you're trying to go week to week. But we're back, and we got everybody here with, I think, eager looks. You know, I can see some eager eyes and full wallets ready to blow it all in week 11.
Yeah, I really like this card this week. I think there's a lot of action to be taken this weekend, a lot of money to be made if you're tailing with the Ramblin' RIP boys.
Lane's saying there's a lot of ass to be had at the books this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
finished off that last week 4-1, so I'm back to 500 on the year. I'm ready to keep trekking onward and get back in the green.
Joe's a survivor, baby. I knew he would crawl his way back to 500 before it was all said and done. He's a journeyman. Mark, how you feeling these days, man?
Yeah. The 2 weeks we've been taking off, I've been doing okay. Not too high, not too low. Kind of how I started the year, just better than losing every bet like I was doing it for a couple of weeks. But definitely been cold this year, but this is a good time of year. You kind of know who's who and what is what. You're the back half of conference play. So, like Lane mentioned earlier, I love this sport. There's a lot that I saw that could be potentially play like bullets for me on Saturdays. I watch a lot of football. So let's get back into it, boys. Good to be back here with you, gentlemen.
And I will say this is the best time of the year, in my opinion, at least as far as sports betting and watching sports goes. I know March Madness and springtime's kind of hard to beat just as far as the vibe and the aesthetics go. You know, drinking beers outside, the sun's back, everyone's shedding their hoodies and their leggings, and they're getting back in the game. But right now you have NFL, college football, and college basketball all lining up throughout the week. You know, if you get easily distracted and you're a sports lover like we are, this is a time where you're not going to be very productive at the office because there's so many games going on. In fact, Joe and I are trying to beat the curse. I know we beat it 1 week when we both bet on UT, and I guess we all got it whenever we bet the Unity. But Joe and I rode solo, I believe, tonight on the game that's currently taking place during this recording. Texas Tech playing A&M Commerce in Lubbock at the United Spirit Arena. Or United Supermarkets Arena. My apologies. And yeah, man, we're sitting at -24 and the Red Raiders are up 25. So we're sweating it out early in this second half, but I got a feeling that we're going to cash in, Joe.
Yeah, I like where we're at. I was talking to y'all pre-pod. I don't know if I bet on a Tech basketball game since that disaster when we all bet on Iowa State in Lubbock, and Tech had a game of miracles, and the second half of God was on their side, and we all lost our Iowa State's bets. So feels
Truly
good to be
man.
Red Raiders again.
Truly, Saint Bernadita looked down on upon the Red Raiders that day with favor, the goddess of gambling. Because or either that or their head coach watched the RIP that week and just totally decided to throw the game in the second half and get some NCAA sanctions in the process. So anyways, boys, let's go ahead and dive right in. Real quickly, I'll give a shout out to our sponsor for this week's RIP episode. That's going to be Josh Griffon with the TIG Team. TIG Team Company or team. No, I'm sorry. I was with Josh this week and he was telling me about this. Now I feel like I gotta do it justice. It's the TIG Team at RRIP Realty. That's it. And he does commercial and residential. So he's a jack of all trades, man. He'll get it done for you. Any way you need it. If you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking to get into commercial properties and do some dabbling in that, Josh Griffon is your man, again, with the TIG Team at RRIP Realty. I don't know why I drawn a blank on that tonight. TIG Team, RRIP Realty. DM us on Twitter at Ramblin' Raiders, on Instagram at Ramblin' Raiders. You can even hit us up on Facebook. I'll get around to it eventually go to our page, Ramblin' Raiders Podcast, or you can email us, ramblinraiders@gmail.com. Spam that thing, and I will get back to you and get you in touch with Josh Griffon so he can hook you up. He's been known to cut a deal with Red Raiders or Ramblin' Raiders followers and supporters. He'll throw some big percentages at you. I mean, he's like talking, last time I saw him, I think it was 1%, 2% back to you when you buy with him. He'll give you some cash back. So you're looking at really making a deal. That's the kind of realtor he is. That's the kind of deal he cuts for family, which if you're listening to this right now, you're family. So hit us up. We'll get you in touch with Josh. Thank you for sponsoring the RIP. I'm going to start with Mark, man. I think Mark's, he's been kind of even keel the last couple of weeks, up and down, like he said, floating there on the cusp of greatness. And I think he's going to have a big week, man, after seeing his card pre-pod. Mark, lead us off strong, big dog.
We'll
Yeah,
see about
boys.
that.
So
Hot takes is always skeptical.
always skeptical. Yeah, no, he's had a good year, but we've kind of turned it around a little bit, picking underdogs, and we're going to go ahead and stick with that thought process here. So we've got first pick, Nebraska's +3 at home versus Maryland. I believe Nebraska is sitting at 5 wins. They need one more to get bowl eligible. This is a program that's kind of been in the dumps for a while. Matt Rule, we all seen that, viral video talking to the team. Seems like he's got a good hand, good pulse of the locker room, and I think they're going to be fired up to play. This is at home plus a field goal versus a Maryland team who I believe has lost 4 straight. So let's go ahead and let's take the +3 Nebraska there, try to get bowl eligible.
Cornhuskers.
Yeah, the Cornhuskers, man. I like that a lot. That's definitely, I will be betting that like bullets.
A former blue blood just trying to get back to the basics, man. I think Matt Rule is doing a good job of taking them from the gutter that they're in to try to get them back to a place of relevancy. Good pick, Marky Mark.
100% second pick. So this is another home dog here. Penn State +4.5 versus Michigan. I'm taking this solely off of, I don't think Michigan's been tested. I don't know if they played anybody yet, and Penn State's going to be the first real team they play. So I can see this game being right on the field goal. This is at home in Happy Valley, notoriously tough place to play. Could see Penn State squeaking out a tough one there. So give me this 4.5 points. Third pick, I'm going to go ahead and take Boston College +1.5 versus a struggling Virginia Tech team at home. I don't really get this line. Virginia Tech is not looked good all year, and BC is at 6-3. They're definitely a class above Virginia Tech per se, based on what we've seen this year. So give me BC at home +1.5 money line. Probably we'll play that at. Fourth pick that I had, this is another number that I didn't really understand. Ole Miss and Georgia, the total's at 58.5. These are two teams that both score a lot of points. Georgia, I read earlier that they're sneaky a top 10 offense in the country, and in Ole Miss, we all know how Lane, runs his offense. It's just, constantly up tempo, going for 4 downs, looking to score points. And I mean, they just hung up 36 or something like that last week. So go ahead and give me the 58 over the 58.5 here. And then lastly, I'm taking BYU +7.5 versus Iowa State. They're at home. Provo's a tough place to play. Iowa State sucks. That's there's no other.
They're riding the Iowa State sucks. They've had some big wins recently.
Nah, they're not very good. Yeah, give me 7.5 in Provo. Iowa State's not very good. BYU's a team that I've actually kind of been on the right side a lot this year. So
interesting. Yeah, that one, BYU, I'll tell you what, that's one of my biggest regrets as a Texas Tech fan this year is that we didn't have Baron Morton for that game because I'm sorry. Hey, I got a lot of respect for the Mormons and the Mormon community, but I got to say there's not a shot in hell anyone from Provo is going to be able to convince me that we don't win that game with a healthy Baron Morton available. Iowa State's kind of more. We definitely wouldn't have I don't think it would have been close, but I mean, we would have definitely covered the spread and got it done. Man, it's going to be interesting. Iowa State's they took a really tough L this week, last weekend against Kansas, sort of put them, I mean, they're still at the, upper echelons of the Big 12. Matt Campbell and a guy who I was ragging on, admittedly pretty heavy at the beginning of the year, and Mike Gundy, those two dudes deserve, I think, Big 12 Coach of the Year accolades. They're up there right now because where they started to where they finished or where they're, currently at has been nothing short of miraculous. I mean, we wrote them off, sent the check, see you later, and here they are, getting
Especially
it done. I mean,
Gundy,
Lane, I go back and play some clips of me and Lane just bagging them.
I said those two teams are the worst two teams in the Big 12 by far. And if Jackson, you want to lead into my picks, I have a great one right off the bat to roll into that.
Yeah, it's all you, man. What do you got for us?
We're going straight Oklahoma State -2.5 at UCF. Earlier in the year, I said Oklahoma State was freaking horrible. It looked like it after they got rolled by South Alabama. However, Mike Gundy has got this team on the move. Huge win against Oklahoma last week in the last Bedlam game that we're going to see for a good while. I like Oklahoma State. I think Vegas is thinking they're going to come out and lay an egg after that big win. It's on the road. UCF is mediocre at best. This is a team that has been steady, middle of the pack. They're going to stay there, middle pack to the lower end of the Big 12. I think Oklahoma State has a lot to play for. Big 12 title aspirations on the line in this one, so I don't think they come out and lay egg. I think they cover this one easily at UCF.
A legacy dub, man. A legacy dub in Bedlam. But all I can say is right when Lane sent his card, I immediately was just like where's the cheese, man? Where is the cheese?
Hey, we're taking the ratty line today. Let's eat the cheese. Let's steal it off the trap before the trap closes on us.
I'm all for it. Like I'm with the pick 100%, but my gambling, the chef instincts are tingling a little bit right now. There's got to be something more to this. 2.5 after that win against an average UCF team. I get it, it's on the road, but something doesn't sit right there, man.
Hey, they're thinking they're going to lay an egg, but Vegas. So fast. Alan Bowman says, not so fast, my friend.
Alan Bowman, the greatest showman, man, is really trying to make his mark in his 8th year of college football. I think I was talking to a buddy the other day saying he works with a guy that was helping Alan with his 401k and his or maybe it was a Roth IRA, I can't remember, but he was helping him get his finances situated for whenever he's ultimately a broker next year or trying to work in commercial real estate or whatever it is he's doing, or a car
college kids. Why would you ever leave? You're making millions.
Hey! I mean, I never wanted to leave, and I wasn't making anything.
If I'm a college football player, sign me up for graduate studies.
It's that one's going to be interesting, man. We'll circle back to it next week, but I don't know, man. I'm with you. I'll ride on the pick. That's wild to me. But Vegas has been caught slipping before.
Stick with the hot team, and then my next pick is gonna be Oklahoma State's the hot team. We're staying with them, and then we're gonna go against a team, kick them while they're down. USC. I think they're a program in shambles. I think they just fired their DC. They don't have it going right now. They can't stop anybody on defense. Oregon has a high tempo, fast paced, good offense. They're scoring a lot of points. They might score 90 in this one. Like Oregon -15 at home in Eugene. So that's my next pick. The next one, we're going back to the Big 12. U of H -2 versus Cincy. Plain and simple, Cincinnati's horrible. U of H has proven they can play some close games, play against some good teams, and put a performance together. If they're able to do that, I think they'll beat Cincy by quite a lot. So the -2 should be comfortable there for me. Next pick. Yeah, go ahead.
Or I was just going to say, going back to your pick out of the Pac-12, usually when a coordinator is fired mid-season, I got to say that means your team is trending in a negative direction. So it's safe to play the trends here when it comes to USC. What's his name? It was Grinch, right? He could have been fired after they blew it against Tulane in the Cotton Bowl last year. I'm with you on. I like that one as well, just purely based off the fact that the momentum has completely left the Coliseum, and I don't see this USC team. I don't think they got much to fight for anymore.
I don't care. I don't think they have much to fight for either. I don't care what the over is. I'd probably take that too. I think they're going to, rely on Caleb Williams to go out and get points, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I think Oregon is just going to absolutely score every time they touch the ball and run away with it late. Count on USC to maybe have a few turnovers to really get the spread there at -15.
Basically, like that Colorado game, just worse defense for USC because they're that bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
This next one's going to go to the SEC. Ole Miss plus 10.5 at Georgia. Georgia is not as good as they were last year. They haven't really been truly tested, in my opinion, yet. You could maybe say Kentucky, but they steamrolled them. I don't think Kentucky is as good as Ole Miss. They played a close game in the first half against South Carolina. Georgia did. They played a close game against Auburn. Kind of had a close game for 3 quarters against Missouri, 2 quarters there. I think Ole Miss is the best team on their schedule they've played this far, and I like Ole Miss to cover in this one. And like Mark said, a little bit high scoring, which plays into the favor of Ole Miss, I think, on that one. Look for them to cover that at 10.5. And then finally, we're going to UNT plus 17 at SMU. This North Texas team can score. I think this is just plain and simple too big of a number. I don't think they get the win, but they keep it closer than 17. Look for this to be a touchdown, maybe a 2-score game, but not 17. I like UNT to score a lot of points here, and Ole Miss to do so as well. Probably win the game, but not cover the spread. UNT plus 17.
Solid slate, dude. A slate that you can stake your reputation on over there at the Casa de Locks, man. Joe, what are you thinking, man? I'm still sitting here eyeing this Texas Tech game. I feel good about that. And if we win this, I might just tail every single pick Joe has for this weekend. What are you feeling, man? Lead us to the promised land.
Like I said, coming off a 4-1 week, I like this card as most of our panel does. First pick, I've got Sam Houston at La Tech under 48. These are 2 run-heavy offenses, not great teams. Take the under 48 in Saturday afternoon. My second pick, I've got Florida plus 14. This line's at 13.5. Buy the half point, get up to a football number. I believe Jaden Daniels for LSU is out in concussion protocol. Quarterback issues. Give me Florida plus 14. They keep it within 2 touchdowns.
I will say, like, I think it's universal across. I mean, this was at least, back in my day, right? 2011, 2012, D3, D2, D1, NAIA. At that time, and I would assume it didn't get shorter. The time span would have gotten longer, but it was 2 weeks minimum if you were in concussion protocol, which he was deemed, I'm pretty sure, concussion protocol, like on the scene, at the scene of the crime in that Alabama game. So if that's the case, then I mean, there's no way they can cover that up or hide it. Kind of like Tech was able to for Baron Morton against West Virginia. I'm just kidding. I don't know. They said that's all alleged. We think that he had a concussion, but they were saying it was his shoulder. But if it is, to your point, Joe, Jaden Daniels out, I mean, it's 2 weeks minimum, and that would be a huge blow to this LSU offense.
Big pick Army, I'm always getting resourceful. I've got a source on the ground in Louisiana. He thinks that Jaden Daniels is done for the season. They're going to shut him down, and he'll be in the NFL next year.
They pretty much played.
Not a lot to play for. Kind of a couple big losses for them, and their season's kind of shot right now compared to where they wanted to be. So
I mean, let's be real.
For LSU.
This last weekend was basically the season was on the line in this game, and they lost. So I wouldn't be shocked if Brian Kelly packed it in, man, and just decided to take it easy. I do love that Joe. I mean, hey, you never know, man. Joe's got little birds. He's got little spies out there everywhere in the field. So he's getting his picks. It's not from the heart. It's not from studying the board. It's also from his intel.
Yes, sir. My next pick, I'm following the shaky quarterback trend. I'm not liking what I see from the University of Texas under center. I'm not sure if it's going to be Arch Manning this week or whoever the other backup is. I can't think of his name right now.
Malik something.
Murphy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I didn't like what I saw from him against K-State last week. I'm taking TCU plus 10.5 at home against a shaky Texas team under center. Next pick, I've got Baylor. This line's at 20.5. Again, buy the hook, buy the half point, get up to 21, gets you at a football number. Going on the road against K-State. Baylor has had a pretty underwhelming season so far, but they're kind of scrappy, and think 21 points is a lot for an in-conference game. Give me 21 Baylor at the Wildcats. Number 5, I've got Bama at Kentucky over 46. I like what I've seen from Jalen Milroe the last couple weeks. Bama's been putting up some high-scoring performances. Kentucky, they can score as well too. 46 in an SEC game, I think, is way too low. I think this one goes over. Those are my 5. Sam Houston under 48, Baylor plus 21, Florida plus 14, TCU plus 10.5, Bama, Kentucky over 46.
So big pick. It sounds like you backed off the USC plus 15 there.
Yeah, I heard your analysis and was shaking in my boots, and I scratched out USC plus 15 and opted for Bama and Kentucky over 46.
I like the Bama and Kentucky. Nick Saban teams always improve towards late. As the season goes on, they always get better in November. So they'll probably look to put up some points.
Laney Cake scared him off. I will say this: anytime Joe, Big Pick Army, starts his card off with an under, I immediately get excited, dude. I can't help but want to pull out my wallet and start chipping in, because you start off with an under. It's you know that he really put some time and investment into this card and into prepping for it. Great.
Mississippi State, Joe?
What's that?
No Mississippi State. I thought you were eye on that one too.
Oh yeah, I mean Texas A&M shouldn't be laying 18.5 against anybody in the country. So if you want to just some extra action, look at Mississippi State plus 18.5.
Is that in College Station?
Yeah. I mean it's at home, but we don't win a lot of SEC conference games by 3 touchdowns. I can tell you that one.
A&M looking to be bowl eligible this year, or they're going to miss out again?
I mean, they're a win away, Lane, and they got Abilene Christian on the schedule. What's that?
Well, golly, I wish we could all schedule pancakes like that, huh?
I wish.
Didn't we play Abilene Christian too?
We played Tarleton. Much better program.
Tarleton, they're the dominate the D2 ranks of college football.
Much better program, I might add.
You heard it from the panel. For all of our listeners, this is a bettors week. I mean, this is a bettors card, bettors slate weekend. As opposed to some of that midweek action or middle of the season action and like week 6, 7, stuff like that. Now teams are really starting to show you their true colors. You can get a little bit of a better read. And as each one of our contributors said tonight, it is a bet tours weekend. And so go ahead and dig deep on these cards, see what you like, ride, fade, let us know what's going on. And I have a good feeling about this, man. We'll be watching all these games from the Deer Lease, hoping for some Lease magic for that 11 a.m. kickoff. Texas Tech in Lawrence against the number, what are they ranked? 16 Jayhawks? They're top 25, maybe 14, but we're looking to shake it up, stir the pot in the Big 12 and get a big road dub. It'd be debatably the biggest dub for head coach Joey McGuire this season. I do want to throw a hypothetical out to end this RIP episode, because y'all touched on Bama. We've talked a little bit about the Pac-12. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Mark mentioned Michigan State earlier. And we're getting to the point where this is the second weekend where they put out the college, CFB poll rankings, CFB, like who's in, who's out right now. How does that look? How do the pollsters or the analytics have these teams laid out? Right now, it's Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. No. Who's the other one? Georgia, Florida State, Ohio State, and Michigan. That's right. And we all know Ohio State and Michigan, something's got to give whenever those two face each other, during rivalry week. So I want to throw a hypothetical out there of who makes it, okay? Let's say Michigan or Ohio State. Whichever one of them runs the table, they're in automatically. Florida State runs the table. They're going to be in. And then Washington wins out as well, okay? So you got those 3 teams undefeated in there. Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC championship. Georgia undefeated. Alabama's got the 1 loss to Texas. Alabama beats Georgia, wins the SEC, 1-loss team. Texas, and this pains me to say it, I don't even want to, it feels wrong putting it in the hypothetical terms, and I hope it doesn't happen. And we know it won't happen because Red Raiders are going to town on, November 24th, and we're going to get first we're gonna have a kick-ass pregame, tailgate party, and then we're gonna go into the dish and get the dub. But if the worst comes to worst, let's say Texas wins the Big 12 with one loss to Oklahoma. Who gets the fourth spot between Alabama and Texas? I just think, I heard some other podcasts, some other outlets debating it today. I wanted to get y'all's take on it before we close out.
I mean, you know what the Texas fan argument's going to be is we played them, so
you got to go head to head, and I kind of get that argument. I mean, you got the head to head matchup on the card already. That's usually what a tiebreaker goes to. So who wins the head to head series.
Brandon Walker, who's the SEC like tryhard that he is, man, dude, just is never going to go away from the SEC. In that situation, hypothetically, the SEC it'd be the first time ever that an SEC team did not make the college football playoffs if Texas were to be in over Alabama. His argument was that I think when you look at the strength of schedule after Alabama finishes it by beating Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, all these teams, it's
LSU's
I want to say Bill, yeah, they're not looking so good anymore. Bama, it was pretty close, but he was saying that the strength of schedule still gave Bama the nod in that situation. Head to heads, I'm with y'all. It's got to count for something, but I'm more interested to hear kind of what Mark has to say because I mean he watches the SEC more closely than we do. So I don't know, man. That'd be a wild situation.
Yeah, no, I think definitely Alabama's probably trending up, and Texas is probably staying a little level, if not trending downward, especially with the quarterback troubles. But I mean, who I think the better team is right now, who do I trust more? I'd probably trust Alabama more in a game like that. But I mean, Texas earned it. Like they lined it up and ran it. So,
I agree with you on that 100%.
I like to say something here. The strength of schedule argument doesn't make much sense to me. There's only 3 good teams in the SEC right now.
No.
Ole Miss, Alabama, and Georgia. Who else?
That's the argument to be had. Is Tennessee?
Who else is their strength of schedule is so good? I mean, there's 3 good teams in the league.
Who would have Texas to beat other than Alabama? They would have lost to OU, and I'm assuming they're.
I'm just saying it's not that much tougher.
So OU, yeah, it's.
I think it's tougher though.
In our perspective,
OU. I mean, it's not. I think it's a wash at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing, man. This is what's fun about getting into these situations. Other outlets were trying to deflect, like looking at Oregon or Washington. Of course, in my hypothetical, if you're undefeated, you're going and you're in one of these, P5 conferences, you're going to the college football playoff. I don't know, man. I feel that Texas in that situation would have the argument that they won the head-to-head. There's, in Tuscaloosa, there's no way to get around that. Personally, I think that the committee would put Bama in. I really do, man. I think that it's just like the Saban factor. I mean, I truly think Texas would get snubbed. And here's my thing is I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'd be upset. But would they? I mean, do they have a reason to be pissed? I think my Longhorn family, I could give them the ear at the next family gathering and say, hey, you guys have every right to be pretty pissed off right now.
Dude, if that shit happened to Texas Tech, you and Lane would be going crazy.
I'd go burn. I would literally, and I'm admitting this on our podcast right now. I would take a torch and go burn the headquarters down.
There's a lot that can still happen. I mean, I think Ole Miss could beat Georgia this week. I mean, it's a bigger spread, but that could have. I mean, Alabama could drop another one.
Georgia is.
There's a lot that can happen here.
Georgia's very beatable, if I'm being honest.
Texas could lose to Texas Tech. I mean, golly.
Texas could lose to Iowa State at night on the road, man.
Yeah, a lot can happen in this situation.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, well, I'm gonna let us get back to this game so Joe and I can sweat it out, even though we have the cover by 2 points right now. Get back to this Texas Tech A&M Commerce game. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you take the bets to the book. We'll take the bling to the bank. It's going to be a great weekend. We'll be at the deer lease, tweeting, drinking, watching games, hunting, sitting by campfire light. You guys interact with us. Let us know what you're thinking. And we always love giving out our picks and hearing what you're betting on. And if you got any hot tips, man, throw them our way. Boys, any final words?
Keep your guns up. Let's go upset Kansas and Lawrence this week. What do you say?
What do you say, boys?
You laughing at, Mark?
We're going to Lawrence and giving him a take, man. All
All right,
right.
we'll give him a taste. I'll set the scene for Red Raider fans before we go. Morning hunt, Saturday morning. I wake up early, shoot my doe. I hang my meat in the meat tree. I have my coffee out of my styrofoam cup. I clean my deer. I process the meat. It's in my cooler. I crack my beer. I'm watching the Tech game. I mean, does it get much better than that? I think that argument brings us. I think that juju brings us a dub.
I mean, I will tell you
year for a year.
If that's how that morning actually plays out, which is very possible. I mean, the odds of that happening are very high. I would argue that's
very high. Some would say I'm planning on it.
As Lizzie McGuire once said, like, that's what dreams are made of, man. That's what dreams are made of. And it doesn't get any better than that. Truly,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't even shoot a deer and I would just be there with you enjoying the ambiance. It's going to be hey, I'll say this. We've witnessed some great wins and some great losses. I mean, not some devastating losses at the deer lease. Win or lose, it's hard to have a bad time when you're in Yancey, Texas, man, because it's good to be outdoors and be unplugged. All right, we love you guys. Guns up. We'll be back for week 12. Bettors, beware. It's going to be a great weekend. Bettors card is hot. We'll see y'all next time.